Former Met and Yankee star Carlos Beltran is now a special assistant to David Stearns, and while at a charity pickleball tournament in Puerto Rico, he told reporters in Spanish that the Mets won't hesitate to go after Soto full blast. So, JJ, two questions for you. How come you weren't invited to the charity pickleball event, and how do you define full blast?
That is a great question. I love me some pickleball. Watching people do it far better than I can, number one. And I would have loved putting a tuxedo on. I don't get to do that too often. Number two, full blast means all systems go for Steve Cohen opening up that checkbook. You know, I don't know if we open up checkbooks these days, but that bank account, a whole lot of money coming the way of Juan Soto. And we have seen the Mets in the Cohen tenure. You go back a couple years ago in free agency, they were all in on Max Scherzer. They were all in on Justin Verlander. I mean, these were guys who were 30-something-year-old pitchers well past their prime. I think it's fair to say, Anthony, we are going to see Steve Cohen all in financially to try to land the big fish, the generational 25-year-old slugging modern-day Ted Williams to be a Met for the next decade.
And that's what it has to be, JJ. I think the Mets, if they're going to be all in truthfully here and totally, then they have to make the biggest offer, regardless of what the number gets to. And it could get to some pretty crazy digits, right, guys? I mean, this is a generational free agent. He's young, coming on the market, younger than most guys do. And, I mean, his at-bats are event status every time he comes up to the plate. So this is somebody who is worth the cash. And for the Mets to be doing all they can here, that means they need to be number one money-wise. I'm not saying that automatically means you get the guy. Money's the biggest thing in free agency, but, you know, the Yankees have something that the Mets can't give him.
What's that?
That is that he was a Yankee before. He's been to the World Series with the Yankees, knows what that experience is like. So does that mean that they have an advantage? Maybe, yeah.
All right, we'll see about that. We know what a PR nightmare it would be for the Yankees to not bring Soto back after having him for the year. But, Anthony, how big a blow to the mystique of Steve Cohen would it be if the Mets don't land Soto?
Well, I mean, it's a little. I think it's a little unfair to say that it's a huge blow to Steve Cohen, just because, you know, it's never 100% about the money. You know, there's always, like we were just saying, there's always other wrinkles involved here. If it comes down to only money, and if Soto at some point during this process makes it clear, I want the biggest check, then he better give him the biggest check. You know, look, he's never competed for the number one free agent. He went to the guys that JJ mentioned before, Scherzer and Verlander, who were older pitchers. No one else was willing to go to the lengths. Well, we'll see what other teams are willing to go. Will they match up with Steve Cohen here?
So I think it's kind of ridiculously unfair to say that the quote-unquote legend of Steve Cohen would take a hit if they miss out on Soto. From a standpoint of, Juan Soto was a New York Yankee, right? He's with the New York Yankees, a team that spends $1 gazillion, that has this multi-billion-dollar brand, and he played there and went to a World Series there and played alongside Aaron Judge. If he stays with the Yankees, to me, that's the status quo. To me, Cohen going and getting Soto, that takes the quote-unquote legend and takes it to another level, because you stole him from the Yankees. But, Eamon, if he ends up back with the Yankees, this is par for the course.